I am Ikala Dakurubatibo. Welcome. Always my pleasure having you wait and share your opinions on matters arising. Currently, there is the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit going on here in Port Harcourt, and I'm hoping it's not just another summit, that something good will emerge from this summit, and the people of the Niger Delta will become, beneficiaries of whatever good thing that emanates from the summit. But any which ways, that's not part of my big stories. As you know, this is hard facts. It will run from now up until 7. The 3 o'clock hours for big stories, making the rounds. The 4 o'clock hours for a topical conversation. And hopefully, I will be speaking with Dr. Samuel Wanosike on the show. And we will look at issues as it relates to the Rivers State local government situation. 5 o'clock hour, we will speak with a socio-political commentator on the power structure now that the Supreme Court has said that state governors can no longer manage or look after the local government in terms of finances and in terms of who is chairman, whether appointed or whether so it's now the local government's answering for themselves, being accountable for themselves. And I wonder what the power structure will be like. Remember, in the past few months, we've been fighting for political structure, right? So let's have that conversation. 5 o'clock hour. 6 o'clock hour, you and I will do a recap and look at possible front page stories. At the top of each hour, there will be a news bulletin, starting with the business update, the news update, and then the major news at 6. All right, good afternoon to you once again. I've got 3 big stories, very big stories. I want to think IPAC is calling for the scrapping of state electoral commissions. Yes, you heard me right. IPAC is calling for the scrapping of state electoral commissions. So many people have been reacting to the Supreme Court verdict or judgment or declaration from yesterday. And IPAC, that's the Inter-Party Advisory Council, I believe, the national, has come out to say, it's time for us to also push for the scrapping of state electoral commissions and allow for INEC, although not perfect, to hold or conduct local government elections. According to the IPAC national chairman, Yusuf Dantale, he said that state independent electoral commissions have proven over time to be incompetent and incapable of conducting free, fair, credible, transparent, inclusive, and peaceful elections. According to him, the state's electoral bodies have become mere appendages of various government houses. Do you agree with that statement? Do you think it is okay and all right, for INEC to conduct local government elections? That will mean more independence for the local government on paper. But this takes me now to my second big story, where a lot of politicians, or will I say political figures, have reacted to the Supreme Court from yesterday. Now, top on the list for me is James Ibori. You remember him, a former governor of a former governor here in Nigeria, and of course, embattled at the time because he was facing corruption charges, or he faced corruption charges here in Nigeria and abroad. He was not convicted in Nigeria, but he was convicted, in the UK. And he has come out to say, yes, I understand. Governors should not appoint local government chairmen. As a matter of fact, he agrees that CTCs are illegal. However, he said allowing local governments to take money directly from the federation account would mean that the federal government will have some kind of control over the local government, just like the state governors were having. And that will erode, according to him, federalism, a federal state system. And he's saying that no, the states should continue to be the ones in charge of finances for local government areas. Do you agree with that? Do you agree? Because if you look at it and look at his argument and you try to make sense of his argument, and then you now see INEC being in charge of local government elections, will that also not reduce to a large extent the powers that these state governors, politically, not as in the constitution, but politically, the powers that they have, that they control? And James Ibori, a former governor who knows government house very well, and as a former state governor, has come out to say, hey, this is not a good one. However, NOLGAY, the National Union for Local Government Administration, I believe that's the full meaning of the acronym, has come out to say that we're very happy this has happened. We are jubilating. We are very excited. We are so joyful that we lack the words, and so they are celebrating. So I wonder if that counters James Ibori's comment, because then again, if you look at it, the state governors are getting their monies directly from the federal account. Are they being controlled by the federal government? Now, people like Akpabio have, clapped for this ruling. They say it's a ruling indeed for democracy. The president has also reacted and he said it's a good one for democracy. And he said now the local governments can account for themselves as it should be, them accounting for themselves. Atiku also has reacted. Atiku says it is a win for Nigerians. Atiku says it is a win for Nigerians that the Supreme Court ruling that granted financial autonomy to local government council by Justice Emmanuel Agim is, a good one, and it will help bring about development. I quote now, it says it is a major corrective action in greasing the wheels of national development across the country. The judgment of the Supreme Court earlier, that's from yesterday, affirming fiscal autonomy to local government councils in the country is a win for the people of Nigeria, Atiku said, using his X account. Once again, Akpabio has said he would love to work with the AGF, the Attorney General of the Federation, to ensure real elections at local government level. So is he also listening to IPAC's demands for state electoral commissions to be scrapped? Interesting, right? I mean, because that will also mean an amendment. That will also mean amending the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, speaking with State House correspondents at the Presidential Villa hours after the judgment on Thursday, Akpabio promised that the Parliament will work with the Office of the Attorney General to ensure elections are conducted at the local government level. So what that means, possible amendments to the Constitution as it relates to who should conduct local government elections. Falana has got one or two things to say. I think he also believes it's a win for the people of Nigeria, for democracy in Nigeria. However, he's saying that there should be some monitoring as to the activities of local government officials, or else they also will become too difficult. You know what I mean now. Strong men, weak institutions. And that's the angle Falana looked at it from. People like Ozekome has said it's a good one, and that any state running a caretaker committee should not receive allocation for local government. But it will surprise you that while all of this conversation is going on those state governments has appointed a caretaker committee, although the government was even though the government was taken to court, I think some time ago, and the High Court told the government that you cannot have a C2C government. However, he's done that. He's called it a transition committee, and the elections have been postponed by the state's electoral commission and all of that stuff. But it's indeed a great one. How things are developing in Rivers State. Several political actors have given their verdicts, including the president, saying that the local governments can now account for their actions and inactions, and you, the people, would have direct access to holding the local. So nobody can come and give the excuse of, oh no, allocation is not enough, oh no, we're waiting for the governor, or we're not going to hear anything like the governor has withheld our allocation. Interesting conversation as it develops. Okay, so apart from Ibori thus far, every other politician is saying that it is a good one for democracy. What is on your mind as it relates to this? Should it be removed, talking about the conduct of local government elections, from the control of state electoral commissions?
Nigeria Info. Hard facts on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
All right, thank you for staying tuned. Welcome back to Hard Facts 92.3 Nigeria Info. 26 minutes gone past 3 p.m. I am Kalada Kurubata, but remember, we're live on Facebook, Nigeria Info PH. We're live on YouTube, Nigeria Info PH, and we're active on X, Nigeria Info PH. All right, so what is it that we're talking about again? Yeah, the big stories. And we just wrapped up with the second big story as it relates to political reactions to the Supreme Court judgment from yesterday. All right, let's see. The third big story now will deviate a little bit from politics and to policies. Yesterday, we brought the report your way that there was the meeting between the federal government, as a matter of fact, the president and labor leaders, right? And that meeting was later reported to have ended in a stalemate, because I remember we reported yesterday that the labor leaders, NLC, TUC, had asked for a maintenance of status quo. I wonder what that means, because we're still trying to understand it from a legal angle, and Labour is now adopting that statement, maintain status quo. However, we have now seen new reports today that there was no agreement reached as it relates to what the appropriate minimum wage should be. As a matter of fact, figures were not brandished or debated on at that meeting yesterday. Reports say that in a week's time they will reconvene the meeting and the discussions will happen. But some sources from Labour have said that the president did understand what, or at least he expressed his understanding of what Nigerians are going through, or Nigerian workers are going through, and he said that he will do everything possible to ensure that the average Nigerian is in good hands and ends. Good morning. Good morning. Is it good morning? I beg your pardon, not good morning. But let's quickly take a look at how it is reported on the Tribune newspaper now. Now it is captioned. The article reads: the Nigeria Labour Congress and Trade Union Congress of Nigeria have expressed optimism following a meeting with President Bola Tinubu, anticipating an increase in the new minimum wage, which currently stands at 62,000 naira. Sources within the labor group, speaking anonymously to Tribune Online, indicated that President Tinubu conveyed empathy and a deep understanding of the challenges faced by Nigerian workers. They described the meeting as constructive, with the president showing a fatherly concern towards the plight of workers and the broader populace. And I quote: "We are hopeful that Mr. President will raise the 2,000 naira to be more fair if not meeting agreement, including economic challenges and the value of the minimum wage," explained one of the sources. Now, the meeting also addressed broader economic issues such as fuel subsidy removal, with Mele Kyari providing insights on its implications. President Tinubu concluded by urging the Labour delegation to reflect on the discussions and formulate a position that considers current realities. Now, one of the Labour leaders, as quoted by Tribune newspaper, said, "We maintain our stance on 250,000 naira as the minimum wage figure until our next meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari." Labour also took the opportunity to commend the president for his support of the recent Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy. All right, so you've heard it. There are other big stories we could have talked about. Maybe it's because today is Friday, I could also, just add those stories or those headlines to, for instance, there is this headline talking about where is it now? Indume saying that Indume has been talking a lot recently, like he did during the 9th Legislative Assembly, National Legislative Assembly, and he has come out again to say that Nigerians are being led by just give me a minute. My I think there's something wrong. Okay, he said Nigerian government now run by what's wrong with my network? Okay, so my network is slow, so I can't read you the headline as I am supposed to. But I think it talked about kleptocracy and where is it now? Yeah, kakistocrats and kleptocrats. Klepto means people who dip their hands into things that are not theirs. Still, yeah. And kakistocrats are people who rule. Like the military would, right? I believe that's what he meant. And the chief whip of the Nigerian Senate, Senator Ali Ndume, said the Nigerian government is not run by kakistocrats and kleptocrats. Ndume stated this in an interview with Arise Television yesterday. He said the government also populated by kleptocrats, but unfortunately, that is not what the president is up to. It really meant renewed hope, but you can only do that when you have people around you that are on the same type of thinking. All right, okay. So you get that one story that's also trending big as it is. This other one, Nigerians pay 721 billion naira cash bribes to government officials, and that's from the National Bureau of Statistics survey. My goodness, corruption everywhere. But let's go to the phone lines because time is fast spent. 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003, and 0817 923 0007. What are your thoughts as it relates to these big stories trending across the nation? I'd like to hear from you. I'd like to hear your thoughts. All right. While I'm waiting for your calls to be screened, I'm going to go to Facebook and see what comments I have therein. Let's see. Do I have enough comments. Samita Pauly says, good afternoon. The ruling is a nice one, but does it start immediately? And also, what about states that have already put on plans to conduct elections? They should explain in details all these to us to avoid many people giving their own interpretation of the judgment. Of course, it starts immediately. For Ernest says, the Supreme Court just changed nomenclature. All done needs constitutional amendment, else it remains academic exercise. State Electoral Commission and the national are manned by human beings, else Nigeria can seek the US to conduct our national elections too. For Ernest, actually the Supreme Court did not change nomenclature. It interpreted what was in or what is in the Constitution. It did not give an alternative ruling. It was asked to interpret, and it has interpreted the Constitution. So there may not be a need for for an amendment. All right. I think the only place where an amendment may be necessary is where it has to do with the states electoral commissions, and whether it should be INEC that would be responsible for local government elections. Interesting, right? It's really getting interesting as the conversations develop every day. But let's now check what the phone lines. Okay, I'm just going to take the calls myself then. 92.3 Nigeria Info. What's your name? Where are you calling in from?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello,
welcome.
Canada. Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
Yeah, my name is Clinton. I'm calling from Bori.
All right, Clinton from Bury, welcome.
The session of IPAC, scrapping of RIFSEC, I think is something that we should all welcome.
Okay.
Because we know that the state independent electoral body is under the supervision of the state governor. So if the INEC, if we are going to get a true pluralism, let INEC, even though they have their flaws, conduct local government elections. That's the only way we can have an independent election that is transparent to some extent. So the statement of Ibori, for me, I feel Ibori is also okay with the judgment of the Supreme Court, but he has his own fears, and that's one of the cons of the judgment. But the pros of the judgment outweighs the cons, so we should all welcome it with open hands. Then finally, NSC and the president having a meeting. All what we are looking for as Nigerians is where there will be a roundtable discussion between the NSC and the federal government, where they come to a conclusion, understanding that this is what a worker in Nigeria deserves, and that worker should get what he deserves as a remuneration. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. I've got Dede from your welfare. Dede, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear from you.
I greet you. Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, Dede.
For me, on the approval from the Supreme Court that local government should be autonomous or let them control fund direct from the federal government, and the eyes of the law concerning our constitution, I'm having a lot of reservations on this. Reasons being that, one, I want to ask a very, very important question. In this very judgment yesterday, and in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended in 2019, is there any other clause that can be worked upon in collaboration with the House, that is Senate and the House of Assembly, the Federal, then to make sure that, just like the question you're asking, RIFSEC in any state conducting elections, and also either INEC conducting for the state, and people asking. So that's to say, from my own understanding, that the right thing was not done before this judgment.
How do you mean? Now, before you continue, first of all, the Supreme Court only interpreted what was in the Constitution, or what is in the Constitution, right? The Supreme Court was asked to interpret, and it has interpreted what is in the Constitution as it relates to local government autonomy. Now, whether it is RIFSEC that will, or any other state electoral commission that would what's it called now, that would conduct elections is not in the constitution, is not part of this matter. I beg your pardon. What is part of the what is this matter is
conducting any state election part of the Nigerian constitution in the law? Is it in the law?
Now you see,
to conduct?
Now the constitution gives state houses of assembly the power to do state electoral commissions, or to have state electoral commissions. However, like I've said,
House of Assembly members.
Also, yes, it's in your constitution. Gives each state's House of Assembly.
The Supreme Court also said that they should not interfere. From what I heard,
interference and conducting election are two different things. When the federal government uses INEC to conduct elections for state government, does it interfere in how state governments are run?
Okay, so from my own answer, I think the executive, for me now, from my own line of understanding, based on the previous elections, the presidency would now be the one controlling the finance and releasing of the money direct to the local government.
The president is
politically speaking, to a very large extent, he that plays the piper.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you, Dede.
A lot of things.
Dede.
From my own line of reasoning. Thank you.
Dede, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you.
Now, first of all, the money has always come from FAC. That's one mistake we make. The money has always come from FAC. It is then sent to a state account, the Jack account. And before it goes, so it has always.
Now is what me and you are saying the same thing.
Okay.
But now it's going to the local government direct.
Okay.
Not to the state again.
Okay.
Is that not?
Yes.
So that's my own line of understanding, because now the local government of 740 or
774
will be controlled by the federal government, as in them now sending their money direct. So politically speaking, the presidency will not be the one in control of all the whole local government, because they are the ones spending their money to them, not state again.
So let me ask Dede, and I ask a question politically as well. Since the federal government sends money to state governments, does the federal government control the states? I'm wondering. Going by your reasoning, politically, does the federal government control the state governments? All right, sorry, Dede, I think I would have to let you go at this point. Origi from Obogu, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Origi.
Yes, this is what Nigeria has started politics. Governance with no problem now.
Sorry, which governance? I didn't get that part.
All the governors in Nigeria now with no problem.
How do you mean?
They will not have direct bearing with the local government again concerning their money. Because if they tell you what they do with the local government chairman, they just pick and put there. As far as I'm concerned, for the past 8, 10 or 16 years, there has never been any election in Rivers State as local government concerned. It's only handpicked. You, as a journalist, you are aware of this. They only tell you that there's an election, they only pick all the people and put there. But today, I'm happy that there's an election. We now choose who we want, and not who the governor himself wants. Governor is not living in my community here. He doesn't live in my own local government. He does not know who is a good one and who does not work with us. But he will only be in the office and pick one person. So for today, today is a very good kudos to federal government for giving us this hope again. So thank you.
All right, Origi, thank you. I've got Obina from Irebe. Obina, welcome. What is on your mind? I'd like to hear.
Good afternoon to you, Salada. The man of the people and for the people. You see, on the issue of local government autonomy, I think it is a landmark judgment. It is a welcome development. But for me, I think it is not state Uhuru for Nigerians. We are living in a country where our politicians don't have the interest of the masses at heart. I think the most important thing is the character of the political players or the leaders, which I don't think that they have changed. They have a way of, when this way, the pendulum swings this way, they know how to swing the other side. It swings the other side, they will know how to swing the other side. So for me, this issue of local government autonomy, it is a good one, but I don't think I am celebrating it until I see the outcome with my koro eye. That is my take, my brother.
Who is at Irebe? Thank God from Onelga. Welcome. What is on your mind, please? I'd like to hear.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon to you.
The Supreme Court granting autonomy to local government chairman is a development. So, that's all I want to see the other people. We want our own state because we are creating state to the southeast. We need our own state. We can do it for a long time. Let them stay.
I'm listening to you. I'm not saying anything. I'm listening to you.
Are you hearing me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I said the African state that they are doing in different cases. Let federal government create your African state first to be getting something from the state because we are in the state. We are not getting anything from the state. They are looking at the state. We need our own state, our African state.
I can understand what you're trying to say, but thank you very much. I've got to go. Robin, after Robin, please. Robin from HA, welcome. What is on your mind?
Good afternoon, KDB, my brother.
You're welcome.
I wish you a pleasant weekend ahead.
All right.
On the Supreme Court interpretation of the Constitution, I referred to the judgment the other day. I laugh when I hear people say local government autonomy. They have interpreted we now have local government autonomy. Why do I laugh?
You tell me.
Does it mean that local government autonomy they are singing about? The names of everyone in the local government area will be receiving salary. Or the money will still be controlled by politicians. Controlled by political parties. What is new about it? It does not make anything. It's just a diversion. The federal government just decided to divert the attention of Nigeria as regards the critical issue question we're asking about our refinery. That's by the way. On the issue of IPAC, asking that state innocence should be scrapped. How come the same independent National Electoral Commission that has been characterized by flawed election in Nigeria are the body now Nigerians are wishing to conduct the local government elections? The same INEC that hire professors who write the results in the day, in the night time, in the daytime, they don't know what they write again. How come they write? The same INEC, the one that shut down server, the INEC, what election are they going to conduct that will affect the people of Nigeria? The important thing is that we should ask our political class questions. We should ask them questions. How can a man who has nothing, we know his father, we know his mother, after 8 years, the man has mansions all over the world, and we are here clapping hands, talking about autonomy. Which autonomy? Canada, I don't want to be angry. This is a weekend. I will have a nice evening today.
All right, Robin Marja, thank you very much. Let's look at this one. This is just in my opinion. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to load, he says, in my opinion, LG elections should still be conducted by the state independent electoral commissions to checkmate corrupt chairmen. Otherwise, the ruling party at the center will control the LG chairman through the governors who are of the same party of the president, while the opposition governors cannot control the state chairman, but the minister or other federal appointees close to the presidency will control these LGA chairmen and control their finances through agreements to install them as chairman. Federal government is only removing the control of LGs from the states who are controlled by this judgment through INEC So the conduct of the local government election should be done by SEC for checks and balances. Best Import High Court has his argument there. Let's see. This one says, please, I want to know who will then fund state electoral commissions to conduct local government elections. What if states decline availability of funds for council election? What will be our fate? Americana Chigo from Ogbakiri. Maybe that's why there is the talk about INEC, coming into the picture. But this one says, much as I commend the Supreme Court in its landmark decision on local government autonomy, both financially and politically, I would like to say that this is a miscarriage of justice, as the Supreme Court does not make laws. What they would have done is to recommend to the legislative houses to amend the Constitution to reflect their opinions. There is a difference between law and morality. Morality says pay LGs directly, but the law did not say so. Harry. Then the Supreme Court should, as a matter of urgency, interpret the aspect of the Constitution with regard to resource control. Harry, I'm sorry, the Supreme Court can make laws, just so you know. Yes, it can. Secondly, the decision of a Supreme Court becomes law. Thirdly, the Supreme Court did not say what is not in the Constitution. I mean, you've heard Falana, you've heard Michael Zuckerman, you've heard my guest yesterday. They've all said the same. I think even Professor Richard Wokocha, the Supreme Court did not do anything outside of the Constitution. All it has done interpret what is in the Constitution. This one says, so our Supreme Court now knows how to interpret our Constitution in the LGA issue. But they could not interpret the 25% FCT issue during the last elections. It is well, Frederick from Dhaka. But Frederick, they did. They interpreted it. I'm wondering where you're going with that. But this one says, good day, Mr. K. Basketball. Nolgay and others rejoice for Supreme Court judgment, full financial autonomy commences and nullification of caretaker committee appointments by governors in some states. This view the people of local government areas. Let National Assembly quickly amend the joint allocation law when attack Clinton West. Okay. This one says, please tell Labour not to be too sure that President Tinubu will up minimum wage. Remember, he said they will cut quotes according to the clothes. Tinubu and APC government don't mean well for Nigeria. Secretary Anna with that one. And this one says, greetings. Okay, and this is not okay. He said, this is not what I'm talking about. I've got to move on now. Oh, sorry. This says, I don't trust state electoral commissions, neither do I trust INEC themselves after the last presidential election. But if you want to strip off the powers of all these governors being in charge of local government occupants, then INEC should conduct a selection as done in Nigeria. Like your last remarks before you open the phone line, corruption everywhere, Michael Newmalt. I did not. I mean, it's what is in the news. But this one says, good day, Kalada. I think the Supreme Court ruling on sending the local government allocations directly to the accounts of the local governments is a good one. It will reduce the power of the state governor over the local government chairman, thereby making them concentrate solely on the development at the grassroots, I think he meant to say. But then again, they might abuse it and embolden corruption. IK from Rumigbo. Let's see this one. This one says, I strongly advocate for the scrapping of the state's INEC. They are a stooge or appendage of the state's governor to manipulate whoever is to be elected. Okay, Godwin Iyeda from Ada George. All right, thank you. And this one says, I totally agree with James Ibori. The Supreme Court ruling contradicts the section of the Constitution that talks about joint accounts for state and local government. Adamawa State has just headed to court over the controversial ruling. Nicholas Erasmus. Adamawa State is going to court for a different interpretation. It has to do with how monies are shared. Let's not mislead the public. Adamawa State is going to court to ask the courts to, the Supreme Court to interpret the section of the Constitution. Same section, by the way. Section, is it 109? I think 1, 2, and 3 talks about the federal allocation account and the revenue mobilization, how they would share. So it is saying that any money that is in the federal allocation account should not be deducted for any reason. I think Nyesom Wike had also taken that matter to court when he was governor. I think even Rotimi Amechi, I kind of remember. So it's a different court case as it relates to Adamawa. I just want to say, who is going to monitor the LJ chairman on what they will be doing in their various LJ now that the funds will be paid directly to them if they actually carry out their
Nigeria Info. Right back after this.
Port Harcourt City.
Introducing the first of its kind